I am currently working on hitting 3 welcome bonuses all at the same time, so I have some specific strategies for how I plan to do so. And outside of those 3 welcome bonuses, there's typically 4 core credit cards that I utilize in my wallet every single month, and I use them for different purposes to help maximize the amount of value that I'm getting from my spending. So in this video, I'm going to discuss what's in my wallet to end 2024, and I'm obviously biased, but I think this is going to be the best what's in my wallet video that I've made so far. Let's get right into the video. And I'm going to start by discussing my top priorities to end 2024, which are going to be the 3 different welcome bonuses that I'm going to be simultaneously working on. To start with, I'm working toward the record high welcome bonus on the Chase Ink Unlimited, which was to receive 90,000 Chase points when you spend $6,000 or more in the first 3 months of having the card. Since I'm working on 3 different welcome bonuses all at the same time, honestly, $6,000 in spend in 3 months already would have been a lot, but especially this is going to be a lot of money to spend, especially with that context in mind. So my strategy for the welcome bonus on the Chase Ink Unlimited is that my rent plus my utilities for my 2-bedroom apartment here in Seattle does typically come out to about $3,000 per month. So I'm going to utilize my Ink Unlimited to pay for that 2 different times, which will get me to that $6,000 spend requirement. We do have the Bilt Mastercard within our 2-player setup as well, which again is going to waive all of those different transaction fees that you typically get with a credit card when you pay your rent. So you could make the argument that I'm making my rent and utilities 3% more expensive by getting that 3% fee when I pay with the Chase Ink Unlimited. And this brings up an important argument on when it's acceptable to use your credit card to pay your rent, especially if you're partly doing so to hit a spend requirement for a welcome bonus. So to help address this, let's take the Chase Ink Unlimited as an example. I'm able to earn 90,000 Chase points on this welcome bonus, and since my plan is to transfer those Chase points out to travel partners, I'd be able to get a value of about $1,800 from that welcome bonus. Since the spend requirement is $6,000 and the value that I'd get would be about $1,800, I'd be able to get a return on spend of about 30%. Obviously, the best case scenario is that I'm able to spend towards a spend requirement for a particular welcome bonus, and I'm able to do that without needing to pay for my rent with that credit card and incurring that 3% fee. But especially where I'm at right now, and to be honest, I'm a little bit over my head with trying to hit 3 different welcome bonuses all at the same time. It's just not really possible, and I definitely need that extra boost to pay for my rent by using my Ink Unlimited. And when it really comes down to it, I'm getting a 30% return on spend to secure and make sure that I'm getting the welcome bonus on the Ink Unlimited versus just a small 3% transaction fee to pay for my rent twice by utilizing my Ink Unlimited. And so when you look at it that way, I think it's definitely worth it to sometimes utilize a credit card to pay for your rent, even if you're tacking on that small fee, if the return on spend is much higher and you need to do so in order to make sure that you hit the spend requirement. Additionally, I'll also be utilizing the Chase Ink Unlimited to pay for my editing service for this YouTube channel. And I actually have another Chase Ink Unlimited card that I got through my LLC. So once I hit the spend requirement for this welcome bonus, I can use those 2 cards interchangeably. The next credit card that I'm actively working on hitting a welcome bonus for is actually going to be within my 2-player setup with my wife, Lucia, and that's going to be on her Delta Gold card. By the time that you're watching this video, I'll probably be pretty close, if not done, with hitting the welcome bonus on this card. And that's because every expense that we have besides rent, so groceries, gas stations, eating out, and activities is all going on this card. The reason for this is because we were able to take advantage of an elevated offer for the Delta Gold card. And since I already took advantage of getting an elevated welcome offer on the Delta Business Gold card, both Lucia and I, once we hit this welcome offer on the Delta Gold card, are going to have enough Delta Sky miles in our Delta accounts to book Delta One suites from Seattle over to Taiwan, which is a trip that we're planning to take in early 2025. Originally, I had gotten the elevated offer on the Delta Business Gold card for a trip that we were planning to take over to Mexico, but we unfortunately had to reschedule that trip. So I then just had over 100,000 Delta Sky miles sitting in my account, and we wanted to figure out a good way to actually be able to use them. Neither of us have ever been to Asia, so we wanted to figure out what sort of opportunities existed there, and there's specific dates where you can book Delta One suites from Seattle directly to Taiwan, which is at a pretty affordable rate. So we wanted to take advantage of this opportunity. So Lucia got the Delta Gold card to match the Delta Sky miles I already had in my account. so that we could both complete this booking. Finally, the last welcome bonus that I'm also working on right now is going to be for the Marriott Bonvoy Bevy. As I just mentioned, all of my spending is going towards the Delta Gold to hit that spend requirement first. But once we hit that spend requirement, we will then shift to putting all of our spend on the Marriott Bonvoy Bevy. The reason for that is because the welcome bonus for the Bonvoy Bevy was to earn 155,000 Marriott points when you spend $6,000 or more in the first 6 months. So the important part of this welcome bonus is going to be these 6 months because it extends our time horizon and gives us more flexibility to hit that welcome bonus. Even though we got the Bonvoy Bevy before the Chase Ink Unlimited and before the Delta Gold, again, we have 6 months to actually hit that welcome offer. So I believe that means we have up until March of next year to finish the spend requirement. And since we've already spent about $3,000 on the card already, I'm not really worried at all about hitting this spend requirement. And you might be wondering why we got the Bonvoy Bevy in the first place, since I don't think it's that great of a card. And I did explain that a little bit more in depth where I went over my new travel credit card strategy and how we're going to be utilizing Marriott points for a trip to Africa. So I'll put that video up on the screen right now if you're interested in going to check that out. Now, outside of those 3 welcome bonuses, I would say that there are 4 core credit cards that I use the most often and are always in my wallet every month. The first core credit card that is always in my wallet is the American Express Gold Card. I use the Amex Gold Card every single month for both the point multipliers and the credits. And so if we start with the credits, I'm able to pretty easily use the $50 Resi credit that I get twice per year to use at Resi eligible restaurants. And I've already used it for the second half of this year. I also get a $10 credit for dining and for Uber each month. And so I use the dining credit for Grubhub and then the Uber credit for Uber Eats. Especially since I now live in the city of Seattle and there are extra city fees that are tacked on to every food delivery. My strategy with both of those credits is to use them for 1 meal per month that I do for pickup. Then outside of rent, my 2 highest spending categories are for grocery stores and dining. So I use my Amex Gold card for all of my spending in those areas as well. The next core credit card that I have in my wallet is the Capital One Venture X. Up to earlier this year, I was utilizing my Chase Freedom Unlimited as my catch-all credit card to get 1.5x back on all purchases. However, I got the Venture X earlier this year, and the Capital One Venture X gives me 2x back on all purchases. So I now use the Venture X as my catch-all credit card. I also use the card for other reasons like using the $300 travel credit. And specifically on my recent trip to Washington, D.C., I made sure that it was in my wallet because the Venture X card was our ticket into the Capital One Lounge at the DC airport, which we had a great time at. The next 2 core credit cards that are always in my wallet are actually credit cards that are part of my 2-player setup with my wife, Lucia. So technically these are Lucia's credit cards, but we use them for specific purposes as well. But really quick, if you've been enjoying this video so far, then do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe down below, because it's a free and easy way to help support my channel and I would really appreciate it. The third core credit card that I use every month, the first credit card that I use as part of my 2-player setup with my wife Lucia is the Bilt Mastercard. I love the Bilt card and I pretty much use it every single month, and you could probably guess why, and that's going to be to pay rent. The Bilt Mastercard is the only credit card on the market that allows you to earn points on your rent purchases without incurring the typical 3% fee that you'd have for using another credit card. So we've loved using the Bilt card and we've been able to earn over 30,000 points in doing so. And then we've also utilized different transfer bonuses and travel partners to get outsized value for those points as well. But rent purchases are actually not the only reason that we utilize the Bilt Mastercard every single month. On the first of every month is something called Bilt Rent Day, where all of your point multipliers are doubled except for rent. So you get 6x back on dining and 4x back on travel. So we try to plan a date night on the first of every month to take advantage of the 6x back on dining. Additionally, in order to earn points on rent, you do need to make 5 purchases on your Bilt card per statement period. So we try to do little coffee runs or make purchases on Amazon where we utilize the Bilt card to make sure we hit that 5 purchase minimum. The last core credit card that is in my wallet every single month is the Citi Custom Cash. The Citi Custom Cash, like the Bilt Mastercard, is actually my wife's credit card, so we use it as part of our 2-player setup. Basically, on the Citi Custom Cash, you get 5% cash back on your top eligible spend category and up to $500 spent per billing cycle, and then 1% back on everything else. So the best use case of the Citi Custom Cash is to use this card as your dedicated credit card for one specific spending category, and then spend no other money on this card. For us, I hope you don't try to break into my car, but we typically just leave the Citi Custom Cash in either my car or Lucia's car. because we use this card as our dedicated credit card for all of our gas station purchases. Another quick note is that the 5% cash back is actually awarded to you in the form of Citi thank you points. So we've basically just been accumulating our Citi thank you points in Lucia's Citi account because we don't have the Citi Strata Premier yet. So we're basically waiting until we get that card so we can use those points for higher upside. All right, so those are the welcome bonuses that I'm working on right now and the core credit cards that I typically use in my wallet. But what are my plans for 2025? Well, I do plan to make an entire video where I go over my 2025 credit card strategy, but I will give you a quick sneak peek. To start with, I would love to add the chasing cash to my setup as well, of course, if that 90,000 bonus is available. I'd like to add the new Capital One Saver to my setup as well to complete the Capital One Duo, and I do think this might be happening sooner rather than later. I could potentially add the American Express Platinum to my setup as well, but if I did so, I would probably get it at the end of 2025 so that I could double dip on some of the calendar year credits. And then finally, I could also see myself adding a luxury hotel card like the Hilton Aspire or Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant. And I could especially see that happening next year for the Marriott credit card because again, I'm accumulating Marriott points for the trip that I plan to take to Africa in 2026. But if you did enjoy this video and you're curious about my honest thoughts on the American Express Gold card after having the card for 2 years, then go watch this video next. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.